What it do? What it do? Shout out to Ham from TSWS Gaming. He was the first one in line. Shout out to Assassin89. Can't wait for the fire show. Absolutely, bro. Shout out to Spider. Shout out to you, bro, for being here. Mitch Dies Aloud. Really appreciate you coming through. Phil, what's going on, bro? How you doing? How's everybody doing today? How was your weekend? Really appreciate everybody coming through and hanging out with us today on the show. Got about 5 minutes left, as you can see on the clock. Gonna be a great time. It's gonna be probably a quick show today, man. Really ain't nothing really popped off this week. We're gonna be talking about a couple of different things. We're gonna talk about that PSVR teardown. You know, the reviews came out for it today. What's going on, Ducky? Shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, the man that runs everybody through their GMs on Destiny. Shout out to you, bro. I'm sorry that they're nerfing you being able to go out and show off your level 600 Guardian when a new season starts, but you know what it is. Next Level Gaming Podcast, what's going on? Really appreciate you coming through, man. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a great show. We're gonna talk about some Hogwarts Legacy, how it's out here crushing Elden Ring, but it doesn't have a chance to win Game of the Year because Elden Ring had that locked up in the first week, it seems. But we're gonna talk about that with Slow Mo. We also gonna talk about Phil Spencer and his coming out talking about the Game Pass not really helping game sale, how it hurts game sales. And I thought everybody pretty much knew that, but you know, people just listen to what these executives say, and that's pretty much it. Oh, Ducky, I know you don't mind, bro. I know you do it for the love, and that's the biggest thing that really matters for a lot of people. You just out here helping people get their stuff going. Right, Brat, I'm with you, bro. Shout out to you. No 84 Metacritic game won't win. I appreciate you saying that, bro. Not everyone knows that forte. Yo, listen, man, people should, hey, man, it's all common sense, man. It's all common sense at this point. You know how to be, though. We'll see. You know what, Mitchie? I think the controversy actually probably helped sell the game more because a lot of people just wanted to go out there and support. You know, it definitely. Anybody that says it didn't hurt is lying to themselves. But I think it was a double-edged sword. I do think a lot of people did want to go out and support this game due to everything that was going on. Yeah, I hope they do that too, Dougie, man. You know, where you can play with friends and stuff. Open that online infrastructure up. That's would be cool. Yo. Yeah.
send it to me and
W-
through Google
Right.
Drive, and then I'll upload it to DPS.
Yeah, we
Either
got it.
way, it's fine.
Yeah, but what is up, guys? It is your boy Forte, and we are here for another exciting episode of the Dash Per Second podcast, episode 121. Hey, we're almost 25% through the 100 going to 200 slow mo. Getting close, man. But with that being said, man, it's gonna be a great show. Shout out to the 1921 people that's here. Had a real good conversation with you guys before the show started. Definitely everybody want to talk about this Hogwarts Legacy stuff because everybody's out here enjoying it, or you're getting ready to enjoy it and play it. But with that being said, let me wrap with my amazing co-host first. The man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that plays every game on the hardest difficulty. I don't know if he really does that. That just sounds good. Slow mo, what is up, man? How you been?
Definitely not every game. A good number. It depends on the game. Like sometimes I'll do hardest difficulty, sometimes I won't. But in the game that you have been talking about, Hogwarts Legacy, I got two different characters. One's on hard, the other one's on normal. But it's fine. I'm just enjoying myself, man. I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I'm
How you been
good.
over the past week? I know we ain't talked too much.
Yeah, no, we talked for a second a couple days ago, and that was about it. But I've been fine. I've been really doing a lot of stuff at work. I'm having a super, well, I don't know if I'm having, but we have my boss's boss, his boss, the boss above that boss, and the boss above that boss visiting our area, and it's a really good chance that one of my stores is going to probably get hit by it because all our stores in this area are really close to each other. So it's a good chance that they're going to probably sneak by one of my stores. So just making sure all my
You
T's
gotta
are
be on
crossed when
your
it comes to
P's and
that.
Q's, right? All
Oh
right,
yeah,
right.
you know how it is. You gotta make sure that type of stuff is all set. But it's gonna be a great time. I'm gonna be good with it. But outside of that, man, yeah, just playing a few different games and stuff. I went back in. I'm trying to get the shout out to Shadow Warrior, the definitive edition about to hit Game Pass. I already had bought that game and already had
Mhm.
beat it. But when I saw it pop up, I was like, you know what? I still got 2 achievements unless I need to get in this game to get that cool crispy 1,000 on it. So I went back and about to
I do the
finish those
same
up.
thing. Yeah, if you real close, if you like real close
Real
to getting
close.
like for example, like the Division 1, I had one achievement left. It was like 49 out of 50. There was like one achievement left, and unfortunately it was the whole go into Division Survival and extract 100 caches out, and I was at like 45.
Oh man, that don't even sound close.
Yeah, so it was like it was just one. So it was, but I still did it because it was just one achievement left. Like that was if it was like I had 5 achievements and I was like, heck no, I ain't doing that. But it was like one achievement left, and I love survivals. It was just like, bet I'll do it. And for me, it was cool because I kind of like I had this pattern, this whole strategy down, and every single run I would do these one little certain things. I just had rules at that point where I was just like, I don't go here, don't go there, I don't even attempt to engage enemies until I reach a certain level or get a certain amount of gear and stuff like that. And it's just like by the time I got down to like the last 10 caches, it was just like every run was successful every single time. It was
Hmm.
like clockwork. So it was cool, but it was just I'm like that where it's just if I got like I beat the game and I got like it's like 40 trophies in it and I got 20. I ain't, I'm not platinum that.
Nah, it's all right. I
Every
gotta at least be a good 80 to 90% there by the time I beat the game. Then it's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and get this platinum or this cool 1,000 out the way before I move on.
yeah, every time as always I'm close. Like if I'm
Yeah.
close, then yeah, I'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I need it's one for upgrading all of my abilities. I literally have 2 abilities left to upgrade. And one is me just going through skill. I got to go through level select, and there's a certain enemy in the game that I need to kill a certain way, and I'm like, okay, I just got to go back and do it. So it's not going to take that long. It's just I just started playing it again today earlier and said I'm gonna do this. So But yeah, outside of that, man, just just doing the things we've been doing. So it really hasn't been a lot of stuff happening this week. I mean, outside of the normal daily and weekly ritual about what's going on with Xbox and ABK and all the regulators, which everybody is super tired of and no one wants to talk about it. We're not going to talk about that on this show today because you don't see it as a
Thank God.
topic. So I really don't care. But I did see one thing that was interesting about what Ubisoft had to say though, Slow Mo. They said,
Well, hold.
go ahead.
Never mind. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, what were you about to say?
Because
Go ahead.
I thought we were going to talk about the games that we've been
Oh
playing.
no, yeah. Well, okay, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead. What have you been
You just
playing? I
jump
know you've
straight
been
into
playing
the topics
Hogwarts.
and everything. I mean, god dang.
Oh, that was listen. You right. You right. You right. Go
But
ahead.
no, I mean, like you said, you've been playing Shadow Warrior 3. That's fine. Um, I have been exclusively playing Hogwarts Legacy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's, I can't put it down. Enrique's been trying to be like, hey, Slow, you trying to play Halo? I'm just like, I have not been ignoring Enrique. I just see it like 2 hours late because I just been engrossed in the wizarding world. Okay. I haven't been playing Halo. I haven't been playing Road Company. I haven't been playing. I did play a little bit of COD when the new season dropped. I did play a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of that with a couple of my friends, but like that was like 45 minutes. As soon as they was like, "Yo, I gotta pick up my kids from school and stuff," I was like, "Bet, I'll be here," and I and I
I'll
jumped
be
right back
here.
on Hogwarts. Like I said, I have two characters, and one's a Slytherin. That's Slomonius Backslappius, okay? So that's him. And then the other one is a Ravenclaw. I call her Jade. And she's the one I'm playing on hard. The Slytherin I'm playing on normal. But I'm not even that far in the like what I do is I do one, like I go up to a certain point with one character and then I switch over so that they're not too far behind each other. But I'm doing so much exploring. The map is really huge. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
I underestimated how big this map was going to be. Like I didn't realize it was that much. Like you start going south and you're like, wait a minute, how much further south do I have? And it's just like there's so many little towns and castles and stuff going on. It's just I just been running around and killing people.
My
So
God.
much that like I haven't really like got too far in the story. Like I'm probably about I couldn't even say how far through the game I am. I might be close to halfway,
How about
but
how
I've
many
put
hours are
in
you?
I'm up to 15 hours on my Slytherin and about 10 hours on my Ravenclaw. So there it's about 25 hours,
What's
but I've been grinding. Like they got these arenas in there, and I like if you just want to just like do the combat and challenge yourself because you can throw it on hard and just well, one of my characters is already on hard, the other one's on normal, but I pushed him up to hard when I do the arenas. And I just like to really challenge yourself to really see if you could like take on when you get to like wave 5, you're like, oh my god, like who thought this was a good
Who
idea?
thought it was a good idea?
Yo, it's just like there's two trolls,
Oh my
there's like
God.
four dark wizards, there's a bunch of spiders coming at you and goblins, and you just like, man, like it's like you're just dodging and trying to get perfect parry off and dodging. It gets crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm enjoying it. Like if I don't get past that fifth wave, I'm like, that's bet I've got it next time. I'm at the point now where I'm just getting through them, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
ton of great experience. But I had to stop doing it as much because I looked at like my levels, and I don't, with some of these games, you don't want to be. I mean, it depends on the game, but sometimes you don't want to be over leveled because then it kind of like messes up the balance of like you going through the story, and
Mm-hmm.
then like you're supposed to meet a boss or something, and it's supposed to be difficult, but you're so over leveled, it's just like whatever. It's just like it's not that bad. Like where I'm currently at, I'm level 24 on my Slytherin, and where the story missions are, where they say you need to be a minimum at, it's like I need to be a minimum of like 17. So it's like I'm too over leveled at that point. So I stopped doing the arenas for now, so I can just get into the story. And then they got the unforgivable curses.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Crucio. I got the torture curse now. I just need to get that death curse and the other curse that allows you to mind control people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wrap. I'm telling you, it is a wrap after that. I don't. I'll be the most evilest guy in the wizarding world. I'm telling you, I can't wait.
I see you've been on Twitter posting about only magicians know about this and all this other stuff. I was like, well,
Oh yeah. The fit, man. The
I
fit was
know, I
looking nice.
saw
Look,
it. You
I
was
was
out
it
there
was
trying to
looking
look
like
all
a
skimpy. Oh,
proper magician with the top hat with the tuxedo fit on. Like yeah, only real magicians know. You know what I'm saying? Forget the robes and the those old super big huge quadruple X robes on. Forget that crap. I mean, I was talking about. I'm out here looking like David Copperfield out here. So it's been fun. It's been fun, man. It's a really really good game. Probably I would say probably the game. I wouldn't say the best game that's come out so far this year, but it's definitely the game I've enjoyed the most so far this year. So I could definitely say that. And uh, I'll hold off some of my other thoughts about how this game will fare throughout the year and its sales and
when we get
whatnot for the
to it.
topic later. But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's been it's everything that I've been playing has been completely bombarded by that. Tomorrow I will try to play some other things. I got Return on PC. Haven't played it yet. I want to play it tomorrow. I also am in I got an NDA for it, so I can't talk about the exact game. But there is
Look at someone out
there's a
here getting
game,
NDAs.
huh?
Someone out here getting NDAs.
Uh, yeah, every now and then, But I got there's a game I got to test. But I think me just saying there's a game I'm supposed to test. A lot of people already know what that
I was
is
gonna say,
because
can
it's
we?
like
Is the
they've been
NDA
pretty open.
cover the developer too?
Yeah. I don't. You can't really talk about publisher or developer. At least not supposed to. At least that's how. This isn't the first time I've tested this game, and so that's the way it was when I did like I signed the NDA. I really didn't read it. I'm
Oh
not
man,
supposed to
you
do that.
tested Rocket Arena 2, ain't you?
Yeah. But look, like I'm just not going to say the name of it, so I don't mess anything
Man,
up. But
listen, man, he tested Rocket Arena 2. They
Rocket or heck no. But no, it's I'll play some of that tomorrow. But no, that's all I've been playing so far.
Cool. Yeah, man. That's pretty much outside of, like I said, jumping back into what's the name. I just been playing Destiny, trying to get some stuff all figured out on that. Ronimus took a guess. He said Atomic Heart, but he can't tell you, so your guess is meaningless. But shout out to you though, bro. All right, well, jump into the first topic about E3, and I thought this was really interesting because this like really makes me wonder, is E3 actually going to happen? Because Ubisoft did their quarterly earnings call, and they were asked about E3 slow-mo, and the CEO, do you know what he said?
Well, Eves.
Yeah, what did he say about it?
Let me guess here. Let me guess here. Eve said, we will have stuff at E3 as long as my lazy, good for nothing employees finish the work. Is that close?
That's close, but he also said, he also doubled down on it, said, well, if E3 happens, we'll definitely have lots to show. And I'm sitting there like, what's if? I didn't know E3 wasn't gonna happen. So slow-mo.
Well, it's Eves. I wouldn't say that's an indication that E3 is not going to
No, I'm
happen.
just saying I know it's not. I'm just saying, but it was just real interesting wording for him to say it, like, because people are going to jump to that conclusion. It's like, well,
Right.
why if E3 happens? Why up to this point, E3,
But
they announced it
you
last
can't.
year that E3's happening.
Well, look, you can't trust anything Eve says, honestly.
That's true
Like
too.
they recently said that they have no plans or not in certain games are that they are working on that they claim they aren't working on aren't in development. I know they are. Uh,
Mhm.
so Ubisoft don't be telling the truth all the time anyway. That said, there is there was talk that there's actually they said it to their investors that there was supposed to be a game that they haven't even announced yet, but supposed to come out before the end of this current fiscal year, which
Mhm.
would be like for them like early next year. So I think what he's talking about is potentially if there is an E3, excuse me, they'll be announcing a game that will be coming out pretty soon. And considering how that like looks, where you're gonna announce a game and then drop it almost not necessarily a shadow drop, but close to it, it's probably gonna be a live service game, which is I mean, pretty much all they've been trying to do for the past, I don't know, 2 years. So there's that. If they got a lot to show, some of the games that people have been not happy about that they're working on, like X Defiant, I think that's coming out this year. Division Heartland is definitely coming out this year. The one of I don't think the Splinter Cell game comes out this year. I think that'll be next year. But
Mhm.
I think we'll get a Ghost Recon game this year. And there's something else that Assassin's Creed in Assassin's Creed. So they do have stuff in development. And I completely forgot the two biggest games that they're most concerned about. That Avatar game is coming out this year too, guaranteed.
Mhm.
That they actually wanted that Avatar game to come out when the movie came out,
Mhm.
but it wasn't ready. So Massive Entertainment had to get it delayed, and so that's coming out probably. I would say that might be out this summer. That's this summerish, and then
Man,
the
that
Star
thing was
Wars
gonna be
game would be next
horrible.
year. So
Did you go
yeah,
see the Avatar movie?
I did not. I heard it was great though.
Yeah, it looked weird.
I mean, it's Avatar. It
Well,
always looks
no,
weird.
well, the original Avatar looked amazing. This one looks. I think it's. I wonder what the percentage on CGI is in this movie when it comes to the characters.
I mean,
I,
it's like a decade older. It's got to have better like
mm,
computer effects than the previous movie.
mm.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
A lot of stuff
I'm not really.
was. I think they did a lot of practical stuff in the original that made it look better. Shout out, hey chat. Anybody that saw the new Avatar, tell me what you thought of the aesthetic. I mean, it looked good, but did it look like as crisp, like as lifelike as the original did to
Well,
you guys? It
yeah,
kind of threw me off a little bit.
to bring it back the game, and I hope that look, Snowdrop engine is an amazing looking engine and actually runs really well. That said, the way that Avatar game looked was
Yeah, they
not
doing it
that
no
great.
right.
And I'm kind of like, look, that game, is this why I don't have a Division 3 right now? Because of this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It don't look. It's, Rodimus in the chat says it looked really good. Well, I mean, maybe he's talking about the movie looked really good, not because
No,
I
yeah,
ain't.
he talked about the movie. Yeah, he said it
The
looked really good.
game did
Okay, yeah,
not.
it just looked
They,
weird to me a little bit, but okay.
Yeah, but they definitely wanted to try to get that as close as possible to the movie, but they weren't able to. But like considering where the target release date was, that game's not that far off. So yeah,
Hmm.
someone wants to actually give it a shot. Well, hey, you're probably going to see it real soon. So uh, I I don't know if they're still because I remember the last couple years since the pandemic started, they've been doing this like Ubisoft Connect thing where they have like two shows a year, and I don't know, but they're always like one's early in the year and the other one's later in the year. But if
Mm-hmm.
they think E3 is going to happen, they may just do the early one in the middle of the year, like in the summer around time the E3 starts. So that I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
Right.
Ubisoft has an identity crisis, man. And we talked about this before, but like
Mm-hmm.
I just really need them to do as that one developer told their CEO. Why are we chasing trends instead of being creative and creating our own trends? I wish they would just like the leadership there would just pull their heads out of their butts and just allow the creatives there to do their job. Be creative, create something that's new and unique and different because Ubisoft didn't get to where they are now by copying everyone else. They
Mm-hmm.
got to where they are by making games, creating successful franchises like Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six. These were games where like you weren't getting that kind of gameplay anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point they just like stopped trying to do that and just only cared about milking the franchises and then only cared about when that stopped working. Oh well, what's hot right now?
Right.
Battle Royale's hot. Let's make a battle royale. What's hot right now? That's hot. Let's do that. It's just you can't take other successful ideas, game designs that other people make, and just take your IP, slap your IP on it, and say, all right, how come this didn't work? It didn't work because there wasn't enough about your game that made it different
Mm-hmm.
than what you copied. It's you have to make it unique. Like Fortnite isn't a straight copy of PUBG. Apex Legends isn't a straight copy of Fortnite. Like there's uniqueness to those games, even though they're in the same genre. And those unique features are the reason why people play it. Like I just saw something earlier this week that said that Apex Legends hit 600K concurrent players on Steam, which is the highest it's been ever. And that
Mm-hmm.
game's 4 years old. Like those are numbers that like Hyperscape that Ubisoft created never hit. Not even got close to hitting it. And you just you have to be able to take some risk. And it's almost like a bad word to say that when you're dealing with investors and big publishers that make a ton of money and AAA gaming becomes more and more expensive
Right.
every year. But if you don't take risk, you're bound to keep failing and keep being in a rut like this. It's just I'm off
Yeah.
my soapbox. I'm done.
No, I mean, you're spitting now. It ultimately comes down to like it's like the formula is still the same, even knowing the formula supposed to have changed years ago, but it hasn't. And then on
Right.
top of that, there's a bunch of games like we're still waiting on. Like, okay, like Beyond Good and Evil 2, where's that? Where's a lot of these other games? People want a Splinter Cell. They say they're working on one, or it's rumored that they're working on one, but it's been almost a decade since we seen Sam Fisher, but you'll put him in a series, you'll put him in
You
a
put them
cartoon beat 'em
in
up.
they put them in freaking mobile
Yeah, they'll
games.
put him in a
Like,
mobile game, but they
what are you
won't put him.
doing?
They'll put him as like DLC character inside of Ghost Recon, and it's like, but why won't you
Well,
give him his own game?
that mission was cool,
It was
but
cool,
people was like, can we get it? Can we get our own Splinter Cell game now?
right?
and,
Exactly.
and I was a little disappointed because I kind of wanted to like actually have Sam Fisher in my squad. Like I actually kind of like but
Yeah.
he was more of like moving in the shadows and talking to you on comms. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
just took out this group right here. I'm gonna flip this switch. Be ready to shoot. Like that kind of stuff is like, all right. I mean, that's not Sam, but all right. It's crazy, but it is what it is, man. They'll either figure it out eventually or they won't. So
Yeah, well, you know how it is. Shout out to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Brap, homeboy. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says slow mo is always right.
of course.
Slow mo, he will always agree with you when he like. If you ever want slow mo to agree with you, stroke his ego by saying he's always right, and you will always get a positive response from slow mo.
That's not always true. But it is right now, but it's not always true.
Oh, it's not. It's just not right now. Got you. Um, yeah. All right. Moving on to the next thing. Did you see the PSVR breakdown that they did?
Well, I didn't see Sony's breakdown. I did see a couple reviews. I saw Digital Foundry's review, and I saw ACG's review of it.
Yeah.
It's about what I expected. It's very impressive
Yep.
VR technology. I think I'll say what I said before about it being appropriately priced for what it is. And even though it is expensive, people shouldn't take that as like a bad word.
Mm-hmm.
Things being expensive, if it fits the value, then it is what it is.
Right.
It's like a expensive car is it's priced that way for a particular reason, because of the value. So if it's expensive and you want it, then so be it. Like if you look at other like PC VR headsets that are around the same spec level,
Mm-hmm.
they're more expensive than the PSVR 2. So it makes sense to me. But me personally, I'm still not getting it because I don't care about VR, man. Like I've tried it, and it's just I know there are people that swear by it, that like it's the greatest thing ever. I'm not. Have yet to be impressed. So I've
So what is the thing about
yeah.
VR that just has it? You just not the allure of just the immersion of it. Is something that you never really got into.
Well, they need more AAA actual games in VR, like games that are unique that take advantage of VR and actually are AAA budget kind of must-have kind of titles. There's not too many of them out there like that. I feel like every VR platform has at least one. And Sony now has that with Call of the Mountain, Horizon Call of the Mountain. Valve has that with Half-Life Alyx, and Meta has that with the Lost Echo games that Ready at Dawn makes. But I played the Lost Echo games. I just really wasn't too impressed. It's just and that's not enough to spend the amount for me to spend the amount of money I'm spending. That's just simply not enough for me to like. I don't regret buying the Quest 2. I mean, I spent $350, right? It's not exactly breaking the bank or anything, but the titles we still see like these like, hey, we got the VR version of Resident Evil Village. I'm like, that game wasn't designed for VR. The game was designed for a traditional gaming experience that you then repurpose to kind of work with VR. And
It's actually incredible, though.
What the RE Village?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look, I'm not interested, man.
I
just
even if you were interested, that would be the last game on the list that you would even think about playing.
No, I ain't playing no Resident Evil game.
Say you up here trying to throw shade at Resident Evil Village.
No,
that is a game that you wouldn't even lift a finger.
I'm not throwing shade at the game. I'm not throwing shade at the game. It's not the kind of title I'm interested in. But for me, that's goes even further because a lot of the VR games are out there, and it kind of lends towards like the style of VR. They're like horror experiences. They want you to get immersed in that kind of stuff. Like,
true,
you got a VR headset on. It's going to be way scarier than playing just a regular game. Like that's why Supermassive has got a timed exclusive. What is it called? a timed exclusive, one of their games
Hmm.
coming out for. Is it Switch something? Switchback or
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't know.
yeah, switch something. I know what you're talking about. I can't
Yeah,
remember the name of it.
yeah. It's not a full exclusive. It's like time. I think it's like maybe time for like a year, but like
Seems to be the going
those
rate.
yeah those kind of games are what it's like easier to make those kind of games in VR, right? You
Hmm.
like your what's the other one? Friday Night at Freddy's, those kind of games, stuff to just jump out, jump scare crap. Like, whatever,
Oh
fine.
man, you
Like
can't be
I
knocking
get it.
Five Nights at Freddy, man.
Friday Night at Freddy is the first one was unique, and the
It
other ones are just
was.
copy pasta. It's the same thing,
Oh
but
man.
I'm just not interested in VR. And I'm not throwing shade. Like I still got mine. I'm looking at it right now. It's got a little film of dust on it.
Why
Need
did
to
you
dust
buy
it
that
off.
thing?
I wanted to try it out. Look, I was interested to see. Like I did my research, and
Hmm.
I started looking at like all the stuff all the technologies that are in play with like foveated rendering and and how much what resolution they're doing per eye and everything. I did all my research. I was just like, you know what? I'm not invested enough to go spend. And this is like a year ago.
Hmm.
Thing. So like I wasn't invested enough to spend $1,000 on the Valve Index or the $600 to $800 for the HTC Vive. Like I wasn't not invested like that. But let me try like an actual real VR headset. And the Quest 2 is a real VR headset. It's cheaper because it's less powerful. The specs aren't as good as the other ones, but it if you connect it directly to your PC, you can definitely play games like Half-Life Alex with it, like the more powerful games and stuff. But I yeah, I just don't care, man. It's just like I don't care about VR. But for those who like VR, like I think PSVR 2 is gonna really impress them for that. So
Mm.
yeah.
No,
What are
that's.
your thoughts on it? I know you're getting it for your daughter, so
Oh, I would see. The thing is, the primary purpose is because of her. But I will play games in VR. Like I played Rogue Rogue Squadron. I played that in VR because they had a VR mode. I did play Ace Combat 7 because that had a VR mode. Normally with it's stuff like more immersive stuff like that, I will do it. Like I always pictured myself wanting to be a that was like the one thing when I grew up and wanted to be a fighter pilot. Top Gun kind of did it for me, like it did for a
mm.
lot of people. I just chose not to go to the military because of it. But I will do stuff like that, experiences like that. VR is cool. Beat Saber is like really, really cool if you ever get a
Beat
chance to
Saber was
play.
fun. I did
Beat
play.
Saber is
That's the
really
most
fun.
fun. That's the most fun I had in VR was Beat Saber. I
And that's the
also kind of
reason it
like,
sells it.
and I did mention this before. Like some of the, and I think I mentioned this back when we had Struggle on, a few weeks
Shout out to
ago.
struggle gamers.
Shout out to him. Um, some of the best experiences in VR have nothing to do with games,
That's
and it's
true.
like the whole theater mode thing. Like there's a free app on in the Meta
In the meta store.
Oculus store where you can just have a theater and everyone sit in the theater and you can connect your Netflix account to it or whatever and just watch movies and TV shows,
Mm-hmm.
watch Stranger Things with a group of people and your little avatars are sitting in theater chairs and stuff. Like that stuff's cool.
Yeah,
But
it
like it ain't got
is.
nothing to do with gaming, And I think like there's so many things. Like shout out to Kay Asante because he was all like, "Oh, slow mo, check this out." He's the one that introduced me to that, and me and him jumped in a little theater room. I was like, "Wow, this is amazing."
So it's
Nothing
like
to do with gaming, but this is amazing.
this is
And
great.
just kept showing me things that were amazing, but had nothing to do with gaming. And I even thought for a moment, I was like, "Wow, what if we did a podcast in like one of those theaters once?" And it's just like the podcast is from there, it'd be interesting, like and then invite people to that. Like, what if like Twitter Spaces could be turned into like a VR theater room. And so when you see people arguing in Twitter spaces, and there's like the people, the viewers that are watching, or people in the audience watching it. Like I thought about like, man, that would be pretty sweet. But yeah, you would get like 6 people in there because ain't nobody got VR like that. Ain't nobody paying money for VR like that, especially not for that kind of experience. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, VR is cool. It's not for everybody. I do think that it's getting to a point where a lot of people are going to really start enjoying it more and more, because the frames per second per eye is definitely going to help people when it comes to like their motion sickness and stuff. And I think that's the biggest thing with VR. Like I always say, if you're able to do it and you don't get motion sickness, you're gonna love and enjoy the experience, and you'll kind of get hooked to it. And then it just comes down to them um giving you content that you want to play on that thing. So, and then you're gonna have the people like you that really like the experience, but was like, yeah, it was a cool experience for me to try the one time, and I'm pretty much, it's, it was a test subject for you basically. So
Right. I gave it a shot. I bought a device. I gave it a shot. It's not for me. I didn't sell it or anything. I could, but I still have it. Well, what, the one thing I want to do in VR I haven't done yet.
what's that?
I want to do Among Us in VR.
Oh, that's probably be cool.
And I remember seeing them do the promo for it. I think it was at the VGAs, and I was like, that's the perfect game for VR. But then I started thinking like, it's already like I don't play Among Us with a bunch of people on the regular already. It's already kind of like, hey, let's get some people to do Among Us, and it's like you gotta find people who are free and want to
Mm-hmm.
do it, and then it's really not fun if it's just 5 people. You really need to get like 10, and they get like multiple
Mm-hmm.
imposters, and that's just on regular Among Us. That's on your phone, on PC, on every console that's out on your Switch. Now, take all of that difficulty getting all of those all the logistics and getting everyone together
Mm-hmm.
for an Among Us session on regular traditional gaming devices, and then add in the additional difficulty of doing it in VR. Not
Right.
difficult in doing it in VR, difficult in finding people who have a VR headset to do it. That's the difficulty. And so it's like that's the reason why I kept it, because if there is a chance that there are other people that want to play it and play something I'm actually interested in, well, hey, I got a VR headset. Let me go ahead and turn it on and do like 5,000 gigs of updates, and then I'm
Right.
gonna join you. But like, it's just I've yet to have that experience yet. There's no one that wants to play Among Us in VR that I know. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I think a lot of people, it just takes people to, be able to do it. Phil says if Twitter Spaces get VR, they're gonna be fighting each other's avatars. Oh man, funny.
That actually be pretty funny,
That
funny
is pretty
actually.
fun. Shout out to the people out there with the blue check marks next to their name. That's what Twitter has devolved itself to. All right, moving on to the next subject. Let's talk about Xbox, man. Let's talk about something that I thought everybody knew, and I don't know why you listen to executives when they tell you things. Because what is the job of an executive of a company, Slow Mo?
To get you to buy stuff.
Yeah. So why would you ever listen to? I understand that people think that these execs are their friends and stuff, and they swear by them and everything. But so I guess this is kind of talking about the ABK thing, because this is how it actually came up. During Microsoft's trying to salvage this deal that seems like it's slipping away every day of the week, with new stuff that's coming out for the CMA and the UK regulators and everything. They were
Mhm.
talking about, and Microsoft basically ended up kind of admitting that Game Pass does kind of hurt game sales in general.
Mhm.
Like, I remember Phil Spencer last year talking about how Forza Horizon 5 sales were doing a lot better than expected because it was inside the Game Pass. And they also announced phone's ringing. And they also announced, remember, State of Decay when it hit Game Pass, that they said due to it being put inside the Game Pass, it actually was outperforming itself in sales due to it being out too. So there's a lot of
But
different.
that was also 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 5 years ago, right? Exactly. There was really no
Yeah.
data points then. Anything would probably sell, and plus it was like the middle of the generation, so people were still buying games and stuff. So when you hear this, Slow-Mo, what is your first thought process on, just Game Pass and the selling of games and stuff, and how it affects it or not doesn't affect the purchase of them?
Well, for me, I don't really care because it ain't my job to really want. Like, I mean, I don't really care if they're making money off of it or not. If I got to play a game that I wanted to play and I didn't have to spend money on it, fine. That's I did what I got what I wanted out of it. I don't know about you. I was about to
I
say.
don't know about you.
I was about to say something real. Never mind. Let's keep this. Let's keep this family friendly. Anyway,
Right.
but for on their side of things, I'm sure that's not what they want to see. Right now, I do recall seeing a screenshot of the segment in the CMA. Was it? I think it was the CMA documentation where it said that, and they kind of redacted the percentage that it reduced it, and so they're talking 12 months, right? So after 12 months, the game's sales are, I guess, down compared to, I don't know, what is it down compared to their expectations? Is it down compared, like, and we don't know the exact number either. So without those data points, I'm not saying this a nothing burger. I'm gonna say I still want to get more information or know more information before I get out the pitchforks and torches to go find Phil Spencer. I also gotta like look at it from the perspective that Phil Spencer made the statement that Game Pass is like games. It helps games make sales years ago, and now in 2023 we get that like after a 12-month period. No, it's not. So was he playing with statistics then,
Or is he playing with them now?
or is he playing, or has things changed with Game Pass significantly enough from then to now that it's no longer the case, and he can't really say that anymore? I don't know. Was he looking only at like a 3-month period? Like, oh, in a 3-month period, it's helping sales, and then after 12 months, not so much anymore. I mean, is that the case? There's a lot of questions that come out of this that I don't have answers for. So for me, if I don't have answers, then I'm not really going to be like,
One way or
no,
another.
Uncle Phil lied to
Uncle
me.
Phil lied
Like,
to us, Phil.
people call him Uncle Phil.
Uncle
Pisses
Phil.
me off. There's only one Uncle Phil. But
There's only one
anyway,
Uncle Phil. Rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
right. But no, if it whether he lied or not, the fact of the matter is that in 2023, the game goes to the Game Pass. A year later, it is not selling well the way they want it to sell or whatever, right? We all recognize that, like, typically a normal traditional game that is traditionally sold,
when is the most that game sells?
in the first 3 months. After the
Exactly.
first 3 months, it never recovers. Not never. There are
Games like Sekiro, what did Sekiro did because of the Game of the Year nominations? It was
right. So yeah,
7
if
months
you get
later.
nominated, right? Yeah, you get nominated Game of the Year, your game's gonna get a spike in sales because everyone is talking about your game again. Cyberpunk, you get a great anime to accompany your game in a popular streaming service like with Edge Runners. people are going to start buying your game again. The same happened with The Witcher 3. The same happened with Arcane, and actually, I don't even think Riot Games' League of Legends was even down. But like, regardless, like it kind of like you get a boost that way.
Yep.
But typically, when most games don't get those kind of opportunities in other forms of media, and you don't recover after your first 90 days. So, I mean, does it really, without seeing the percentage, does it really matter? I don't
Yeah.
know. And that's the just thing, like without the actual seeing the actual number, does it really freaking matter? And if that number is like 3%, then it's like, what are we talking about here? But if that number is like 300%, it's like, yo,
Yeah, but what is that? But still,
I
what is
would
that?
never put my game in
But
Game
what
Pass
is
with
also?
them.
But
So
what
it's
is
like,
that? What is that number based off? Is that 300% based off of the tail end of the last 4 months of sales after the game is like old and
or is
decrepit
it
and nobody's playing it?
or is it like an average or a projection of what you expect it to make at that point,
Right.
or the way you expect it to be selling at that point? Is it are the games that are in that percentage, are there these games that are no longer in Game Pass? Are they still in Game Pass at that 12-month mark, or were they in Game Pass at some point and then they haven't been in Game Pass in 6 months, but due to the fact that your game is cheaper now and you expect a certain amount of sales a year later, but because it had already been in Game Pass, people had already tried your game, and the same people who would have potentially picked your game up for $30 a year after its release didn't do that because they already tried your game in Game Pass and or played it and completed it and they moved on. And so is that the reason why the sales are diminished?
Right.
Who the heck knows? I don't know.
But they
I
had
will say though, like that it's not a good look for them to see anything is diminishing in subscription services. So it is what it is, man.
But the funny thing is, even if you go back to the whole like Netflix thing, do people still go out and buy Blu-rays once a movie or a show hits a streaming service or anything? Like, I know a lot of
I
people.
guess it would depend on how much they like the movie.
Well, that same thing it is with the game, though. You know, you get to that point. But there was a thing around this moment,
Especially when that movie leaves Netflix.
well, yeah, then yeah, but at that point, that's the only place you can get it is buy it. There is no streaming it anywhere else.
You can rent it from Prime Video. Prime Video is
Well, yeah, you can rent movies, still rent. But at that point, I always feel like weird when I'm renting a movie. It's like you would rent it for $5, you could buy it for what, 12, 15 15, sometimes 20 if it's a brand new thing.
Yeah.
But
although that's not a very we do have to recognize that like Netflix isn't like a one-on-one comparison.
No.
And both sides of the debate aisle use Netflix positively or negatively whenever they want to support their argument. But like realistically, in Netflix, you can't buy any of the content that's in Netflix.
Yeah.
But you can buy everything that's in Game Pass with or without a discount. I know that the discount isn't it's not no, that's not universal for everything. So it's like
it's not
it may be like it'll be like 15% for maybe like an indie game, and then it might be like 5% for like a big AAA game that was in there day one. It's never it's not the same percentage across the board, is what I'm saying. But
yeah,
we're gonna shout out a couple things real quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dragonheart Yobi with gifting 5.
Oh,
5
gunslingers. Let's go. Shout out to you, bro.
5, man. Gunslinger memberships. Yes, man. That's what's up. When did you change it to Gunslinger? What is that one?
That's the channel one.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, that's the channel one.
So yeah, if you got a channel membership from Yobi, please give him a thank you in the chat. Also, we have a super chat from Stanley Buffington, $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Stanley. He says, "Not a gotcha moment for Microsoft, but a gotcha moment for the Microsoft fans claiming Sony and Nintendo need to put their games on a subscription service day one." And hey, look, that Super chat might be a nice little segue to the next topic.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing I will say, finishing out that last topic, is I do think that in general, these games after a certain amount of time, they're going to just lose momentum. Not every game is going to stay up there. I don't think that they were being deceitful or anything when it comes to that. I just think that, it's just like when Microsoft comes and says that they're third place. Yeah, they're third place, but you never want to hear a company say like, "Oh, we're trailing in third place. We're this and we're that." But and this company is hundreds of light years better than we are at this and that. Yeah, you're telling the truth, but don't nobody ever really want to hear that, and your stockholders and stuff really don't want to hear that. You're basically
They're
just
also talking up like there's a reason why you're mentioning it and saying it the way you're saying it.
because
You're
they're
trying
trying.
to
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're a $1 trillion corporation. Like you are, yes, you are in third place. A lot of that is on you though. Like it's not like you like when you mismanage studios, that's that Sony didn't go in and impersonate your producers and have them give bad direction to
mm-hmm.
or choose to ignore mismanagement going on in games and miss deadlines. Like that didn't happen. Nintendo didn't go in and didn't tell like the Undead Labs people to just like not know how to make a AAA game.
Mm-hmm.
Like none of that stuff. That's all on you. So it's like you have the opportunity to make these changes and make better games and get these games out in a reasonable time period. You just
Nope,
haven't yet. And so
you're right.
I mean, you're in third place because that's how you performed. It's not because, Sony's keeping you down or we need this to compete. Like you want it to compete. You want Call of Duty. You want Diablo and you want Overwatch and anything else that Blizzard eventually ends up making. You want those things because they know how to get games out in a timely manner.
Right.
But you got 25 studios?
30. Well, yeah, 25. 25.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
you
trying.
can
It'll be 32 if this deal goes through.
what's stopping you from doing that yourself?
Uh,
Just like I don't subscribe to this. You need Activision to compete, but likewise, like some of the talk out there, like if they don't get this, what's going to happen to Xbox? Not a damn thing. They're gonna
uh,
keep doing what they
you know
doing.
what's going to happen to Xbox? Whatever Microsoft wants to do with it. That's what's going to happen to
It ain't
Xbox.
Xbox isn't going anywhere.
No.
Look,
I know that's
you,
what I'm
you
saying.
don't go from deciding to drop down $70 billion on a gaming
The
acquisition.
shuttering
You
doors.
don't get it. All right, we out of gaming. Screw this.
Yeah,
That
we out of
doesn't make any
gaming.
that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If I'm an investor in Microsoft and you just sold me on we're all in on gaming. Like I'm telling you, we are 100% in on gaming. We're so much in on gaming. We're spending $70 billion on this trifecta of companies.
Right.
Oh, we didn't get it. Screw it. Gaming's done. We didn't really want that anyway. We're gonna move on. We're gonna switch more gears. We're gonna switch more into cloud and other areas of cloud now. Like what? Why would I trust what you're saying now when just a year ago you was all in on gaming? They can't.
Mm-hmm.
They can't like they got people got to think. Like people literally don't use their brain sometimes. Think for a moment. How would they go from doing that to like we're completely out of the business? Period. Now.
Gregor brought up a good point. He said, to be fair, Microsoft bought Nokia, then later shut down their phones.
Did they spend $70 billion on Nokia?
It was 7.7 billion.
So 10 times less than what they
It's
trying
still,
to.
but dude, that was still. You got to think about it, Slobo. At the time, that was the biggest acquisition ever made when they made that deal with Nokia. At that time. So yes, when you shoot 20 years in the future and they spend 10 times the amount of that money, it seems like, oh, that's nothing. But dude, back whatever, I forget what year that happened. That was a lot of money, Slow-mo. And Microsoft just said
how long was Microsoft in the phone business when
not
they
that
made that?
long,
Not that long. How
not
long they
that
been in the gaming business?
longer than it was in phones. Way
2
longer.
decades. 2 decades.
Probably a decade longer. Probably a decade and a half longer. I think the phone thing only lasted like 3-4 years.
Yeah. And they're in third place in gaming, in console gaming. Where they were in phones,
They were behind places like Spring Mobile.
they were so far behind in phones. It was like, why are you even freaking bothering?
Oh man. You know, Cricket, they were below. If Cricket was back then, they would have been behind Cricket. Oh man.
They're not moving on from gaming. This. You know how long I've been hearing this.
Yeah.
I've been hearing. I remember when I first got into this gaming community back in 2017. People were saying, same people who are still saying these things now. Well, you know, Microsoft only got 5 studios. You know, they're not invested in gaming like that. They're going to drop it. This was their argument.
Yeah. Did you ever
So now that they got 23 studios, now they just move the goalpost to a different excuse why they're going to leave gaming. Like these people are going to keep saying this until either Microsoft either starts dominating or they eventually leave gaming like 2 decades from now, and then they'll be like, "See, I told y'all, you know, for 25 years I've been saying I was going to leave gaming. They finally left gaming." Like, well, you know, you don't know what you're talking about, but
That's
all right,
true.
thank you,
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it is what it is. Like I even regret bringing it up because honestly, it's silly. They're
It
not
goes
leaving
down a
that.
rabbit hole. And the one thing I will say though, Microsoft's their ideals are really linked to their CEO. I really wonder what the next, because Saudi is not going to be there forever.
That's true.
What's the
That's
next CEO
that
going
would
to
be
say?
that would probably be the only thing that would actually get them out of gaming if things don't if they're not absolutely making, forget how much revenue they're generating. If they're not being profitable, you know, like it's really a strong part of the Microsoft business. And Satya moves on and there's a new CEO. Yeah, then you're kind of looking at like he might kill it. He might
Yeah.
kill it simply because, you know, I don't need this to be successful in order for me to keep my job.
Yeah.
And I can actually drop this and then you know, and then have us refocus on other things. And not even necessarily make more money or generate more revenue doing whatever other thing that we dropped this for, and still look good with the investors because all that was the predecessor's deal.
Yeah.
So
As long as the stock price is going up, you winning.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, moving on with shout out to everybody. He said Rodimus said Sadia was going to kill it before Phil saved it, and that's the
And he
thing.
had to convince
He had to
Satya
convince him.
why it was worth it. And look, that's what Game Pass is. If there wasn't Game Pass, there would be no Xbox.
And that's the thing I think a lot of people don't understand, because I do believe that the fact that Microsoft was able to switch over their whole ecosystem to basically mirror what all of Microsoft is doing, because Microsoft is basically a service company now when it comes to like all their offerings. And the fact that he was able to spin that with Sadia was a way of them saying, okay, let's get this to work. And then now Sadia's bought into it. Who knows if that's going to be the situation, long term. It's only a matter of time until we find out, and we don't know. It could be a completely different thing when Phil Spencer leaves, because we don't even know what's gonna happen when that happens. So it's just crazy to think about. But as of right now, Microsoft, it's no reason for them to even think about anything like this. They're going to just move forward like they've been moving forward, and it's going to be a long time until we see anything of the negative happen when it comes to like Xbox and their position in gaming and stuff. But it's going to be cool.
Yeah, let's move on to
Yeah,
this.
I was
I
gonna say,
really want to talk about this PS Plus stuff, man,
yeah,
because
let's
like
talk about it.
this
So
was
go ahead.
I mean, strong move by Sony.
Very strong move.
Like I was like, man, I like that.
I was
Like
too. It's
that
boring
month,
as heck, but I like it.
if I didn't what?
It was a boring game, but I like it.
No, I'm not talking about Horizon. Yeah, Horizon Forbidden West is boring. I'm talking about the PS Plus offering.
That's what I'm saying. The offering is great. It's just that the go ahead.
You're like, what are you saying?
Go ahead.
I wasn't
No, I
talking about
agree.
a game.
No, I know what you're
And
talking
you were
about.
talking about a game, and I'm like,
No, I'm
I'm
talking
talking about
about
everything.
Well, that's the headlining game that's inside of that they're talking about, but but everything else is freaking
Well,
incredible.
let's
Yeah, go ahead.
approach
Just
this.
go ahead,
Let's
Slomo.
approach this in sections, okay?
Yeah, well, because there's a lot of different moving parts to this. So go ahead, approach it from the
so
way you go.
so they updated the PS Plus game catalog lineup.
They did.
I don't know when this starts though. Is it? Oh, sorry, it does start the 21st. So that's Tuesday of next week. You're getting Horizon Forbidden West, which so this is like everyone's kind of talking about how we can shelve this for a little bit later because I want to get to the games. But like Horizon Forbidden West is coming in a year after it came out, and then people were kind of wondering if that's going to be the norm for PlayStation first party games. We can discuss that later. That could be the second mini topic here. Another game that's going in is The Quarry, which AAA game came out last summer. Probably one of the worst supermassive games, but it's a game in there. If you haven't played it, you can and you got the service, go ahead and try it out and probably bang your head against the wall with how dumb the characters are. But Resident Evil 7, Outriders, which is a very good looter shooter. Scarlet Nexus, which is an awesome action RPG. Like if you have not played Scarlet Nexus yet, you should be jumping on that. Borderlands 3, Borderlands is Borderlands, great looter shooter there too. Story sucks compared to 2. It just sucks, period. Story sucks, period, but is what it is. Tekken 7, I'm not into fighters, but if you like fighters, you got that. Ace Combat 7, Earth Defense Force 5, Oninaki, Lost Spear, I Am Setsuna, The Forgotten City. Now, let me talk. The Forgotten City is, I think, it was when it came out. I think it came out 2021. It was like one of my honorable mention sleeper, like in my most liked games of 2021. It wasn't top 5, but it was definitely. I think it might have been in my top 5 actually. I don't know, but it's like one of the best time loop games ever. Like this came out the same year as 12. Was it 12 minutes?
I think it was the same year.
12 minutes sucks.
I remember when you played the game, you was like, "This is disappointing."
Yo, this is bad. It's really bad. 12 minutes is sucks. And then the ending makes you want to go like, all right, man, I need to go find who wrote this and punch them square in the throat, like throat punch, right? But The Forgotten City is a time loop game done well. Like, if you haven't played that, forget the visuals ain't that great, but the story's awesome. And if you just ignore that the visuals aren't like some AAA, like, super impressive, ultra realistic visuals, you're going to really enjoy a gem there. But like, that's a really strong offering for the collection. And then for classics, they got Legend of Dragoon from PS1, Wild Arms 2, Harvest Moon, and Destroy All Humans. So I think the only critique I would give Sony with this is that so last week they announced all the games that were like that they were shutting down the PlayStation Plus collection. Remember that?
Yeah, they shut it down and they said, but they did give you the option. They said as long as you download the games or you download them before they're gone, you'll own them forever. But you have to do it before they're gone.
Which my whole stance on that was if you haven't played these games yet, and these games are like, some of them are like 5 years old. They were some old games. If you
Yeah,
haven't played these games yet, you never were going to play them.
right.
And I think people are more whining about not having access to something that they had but I'm just like, just download the game, you're fine, right?
Yeah, just click
But
on the
I
game
think
and put it in your cart, and that's
but I
it.
think for like PR sake, they should have announced that and then announced this at the
That's
same
true.
time. So because then it's like nobody would have cared that like these old games that they still ain't played or they already beat or whatever are no longer going to be available in the service that they are paying for, but they still have yet to play these games. Because then all of this stuff is being added in, added into the service, and then you kind of look at it like, oh, well, look, there's a trade off. Like, I mean, games leave out of Game Pass all the time, and then when games leave, new games come in. It is what it is, right? So it's just like I thought that would have probably my only critique is they could have just made that announcement with this announcement, and nobody would have even complained. Otherwise, this is really good, and there's some games here that I might just install and just play on. Like I might just play Scarlet Nexus for a third time. You just install it on PlayStation and play through it again, just
Yeah.
because it's available. It's the game's that much fun. Most of the stuff on here for me is I either don't want it or already beat it. But if you are a casual gamer and you have this service, like you got some quality titles here that you can go through. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, no, I think you're right on point with that. I also agree with Gregor in the chat. You said, when it comes to Horizon, we know that was something that was probably put in there due to the fact that we got the VR game coming out, and we also got
True.
DLC coming out very soon for
Right.
that game. So that is definitely another part of why they said we get the first one into people's hands so they can get caught up or just get immersed into what the world is. And then we're gonna
Right.
hit them with the VR, and then we're gonna hit them with the DLC. But when it comes to everything else, I just went in like that's the thing. You're absolutely right, because I had access to that collection since day one of having a PS5. Because remember, that was even before they did the play, because PlayStation Plus Premium wasn't a thing then. And as long as you had a PlayStation 5, you didn't even have to have that PlayStation Plus. You just got access to that collection no matter what. So all the games that are in there are the ones that are pretty much going away. And I just went in like a lot of those games I already owned, but I just went in the ones I didn't own. I went in and like say, yep, click this, click that, make sure this is in my library. So even if I let my subscription lapse, I got it. I just think this was a really, really strong move for them, because the thing that people always say is, Game Pass got better games and all this other stuff. And people will say that a lot of these games were already in Game Pass before, but the thing is, who cares? They're in there now. Just like when Game Pass first started, a lot of the games that were in Game Pass were games that people already played. When they first started it was just the fact that it was like, oh my God, this amazing service that has all these games, and nobody's going to take that away and say that wasn't an amazing thing that they did. The biggest promise with Microsoft was their first party games going in there, which we're still waiting for, we're still eating a la carte off of that one, because, a lot of the stuff is still, we're still waiting for it. But it's really good to see that they actually have a lot of these games going in there. Like Scarlet Nexus is the game that I actually bought, and I was like, man, it hit Game Pass like a month after it came out, and I was like, I paid for this game. But guess what? I was happy I did, because I got a chance to experience it on day one, and it had some of the best like combat of that year. It's probably still some of the best combat no matter what of any game that you play. So it was really, really cool, and I like the direction that they're going with this. Go ahead.
Super anime story. I mean, like this story is convoluted, and what the heck is going on half the time? But you get to play it from two different perspectives, from Kasani and Yuito. I think that was the guy's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did both, and you got to see it, like the things that were confusing of why characters were doing certain things. you saw it from one character's perspective. You go to the other, and you're just like, oh, so that's what was going on. So it's almost kind of like to get the full, complete story. You really had to play both sides, which, frankly, I didn't mind at all because they had New Game Plus, and I was able to kind of carry over
your mates.
carry over levels and stuff. So it was fun, man. It was, and it, I didn't mind paying for the game because I got to play it at launch and I didn't have to wait, you know. And so like a lot of people would be like, "Oh man," like I think a lot of the people that complained about games going into in sub services after they boarded the people who bought the game and didn't play it. You bought the game and it's set in your backlog, and then it showed up in Game
It's
Pass or
still in your
PS Plus.
backlog, even after it hit
And it's
Game
still in your
Pass.
backlog. Now you're mad because you're like, oh, I could have just installed it, but like you didn't play it yet. The game been out for 6 months. You still ain't play it. What did you really like? So what? You spent money on it and you supported the developers. That's great, but you really weren't that interested in the game because you still didn't play it. So what? It's in Game Pass. You were out $60. I mean, like
at least it wasn't $70 slow mo.
I mean, do you get mad when it goes on sale? You know,
No.
5 months late after launch. You know, oh, it's on sale for $30 now. Dang, I could have just bought it now. But maybe, you know, play your games instead of complaining. I don't know.
You're right. Gregor says he thinks that he swore that they said that it was only temporary with the PlayStation Plus collection just to get people into the ecosystem because they didn't have to buy any games for their PS5. That might have been the case. I don't remember. I just know that
I don't recall them ever saying it was temporary.
I just
but then at the same time, I don't.
I just remember them saying that every PlayStation 5 purchase comes with a library of games. And I do remember them saying that you don't basically have to buy games because you could just play the ones that they give you in that collection.
Look, you install the games, but before May, you still have access to them.
You still have access to it. You can delete them off your hard drive and everything.
There's literally nothing else to complain about at that point.
And remember,
you could install all those games right now, and as long as you still have your subscription, you still have those games, and which is no different than if the collection continued on. It's not like they were adding games in there after the fact. It's the same bunch of games they put in there from the very start. So it was just what?
So,
like it's
so player says, you know, if Sony is successful with Plus, then Microsoft made the wrong business decision with day one drops.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. The only reason I disagree, because I will say that there is an inherent thing when it comes to they probably should have thought about the whole thing about saying having the games launch on the same day that you could have probably just, you know, you could have double dipped. And I think that would have definitely been something. But I also think that Microsoft was in a situation where they just didn't have any confidence in not only their teams, but their people didn't have confidence in them releasing games. So they had to find a way to do something. So I honestly believe that Game Pass
still don't have confidence in them.
They still don't, because they haven't even lived
There's
up
a
to
segment of
that.
people who still don't have a confidence in that, and I am.
So
I am somewhat in that camp. Yeah, like I'm just like, yo, you did release Halo Infinite like less than 2 years ago. Like you let it go out early. Like here's the weird thing. State of Decay 2 needed like 6 months before it released. They let that out early. And Sea of Thieves released with no content. They let that out early. They said after the fact, yeah, we needed games, so we launched them before they were really ready to go. They said it like they understood that was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then fast forward to 2021, and here you are releasing Halo Infinite too early because you needed content, and that game needed to get out. It's like I don't know if they really learned their lesson like that. You know, like I think. And I'll continue to keep saying this: the studios that they acquired, that are veteran studios and know more about gaming and how to release games than Xbox leadership probably ever will, like Double Fine and Obsidian, and you know they're fine. They'll be just fine. They're going to do their thing. It's the other guys that they acquired that need help,
Right.
that are not going to really get that help from leadership. They're going to have to figure it out on their own with a big bank to rely on, which is pretty much all Microsoft is really giving them. All
Right.
that's it. Like what I mean is that to go back to what player said, the value of how the gaming community sees the PlayStation games was different than the value of how people saw the Xbox games. When they saw Xbox games, all they saw was Halo, Gears, and Forza. And if you weren't in the Halo camp like that, you didn't care. If you were in the Gears camp like that, you didn't care. You weren't in the Forza camp like that, you didn't care. 'Cause those are established, like, not new IP kind of franchises. When it comes to new content, is where people will be like, yeah, I'll rock with a new IP that's coming from Nintendo or being published by Nintendo. I'll rock with a new IP that's being published by Sony. They don't know about Microsoft. And so, like, I say all that knowing that, like, Hi-Fi Rush just came out, and Hi-Fi Rush is a quality game.
That's a quality
Great.
game. Really good game.
But it's just, it comes to consistency. And if they really had confidence in Hi-Fi Rush, I don't think it would have been a shadow drop. I
Mm.
think it would have been a game they would have been marketing for like the past 6 months before it came out. I don't think they really knew what they had with it, which kind of goes to, do you know what you're doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Because look, I don't credit Apex Legends' success to EA. EA shadow dropped that too. I don't think they knew Apex Legends was going to be good, or that
I
like
mean, they paid a lot of money.
4 years from now it's going to have 600K
Yeah.
concurrent players on one platform alone.
Yeah.
I don't think they knew that was going to happen, but they got lucky.
I think they knew that they were going to be successful on the outset because they did put a lot of money in marketing in the right places when it came to, we don't have to go do a marketing campaign. We just get some of the biggest streamers out here, have them, ready to play the game on the day that we're ready to announce it. And I think that really did help with them because, like, literally every streamer was playing that game. Like,
Uh,
the who's was playing it. So I think they already had success in the bottle when it came to just the way they announced it. But yeah, the long term tale, like you're talking about right now, they never saw this.
Okay, well, let me. I don't mind being wrong.
No, go ahead.
Gaming Addict in the chat said he talked to the dev and they did do the shadow drop on purpose. So it's, well, I mean, look, it's not like, I'm not saying they was just like, man, let's just drop it down like it was a spur of the moment thing. But if they felt like the shadow drop was the best method for a game they actually had confidence in, that's fine. I just kind of feel like just,
What?
you would have got more eyes on the game and more sales in the game if you actually marketed it instead of shadow dropping it. And anytime someone isn't willing to do that, like, I don't see the purpose of a shadow drop unless you're unsure. But if they were sure that it was definitely going to turn out the way it did, that's fine. That's cool. I'll accept that. I don't know if that's the norm, but
Right.
that's cool. I just kind of feel like overall, like what you really want from Xbox management and as a publisher is consistency. And maybe we'll get that this year. Maybe there's Hi-Fi Rush first. That's a great first start, right? Then Redfall comes through. If Redfall is popping, hey, that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
Starfield hits. Let's go. It's actually everything that Bethesda fans really want. Even better. Then you got Forza Motorsport later this year, which we all know is just going to be quality because it's turned 10. Then that's what you want. That's the kind of consistency that you want. But it's that's why they had to put their games in day and date. And it's different than Sony. Sony doesn't need to do day and date with their games. Their games are gonna, for the most part, if they're quality, they're gonna sell. You know,
Right.
they're gonna sell well, and then they can put it into the service a year later, if they choose to, and it's just gonna bolster their service for those who didn't pick up the game.
Hmm. I agree with that. He said that they are. I guess he said they're dropping an interview with Tango GameWorks, and they talk about the marketing. They're going to drop that interview soon on the IOP. So make sure you go to the IOP channel and check that out. Oh, shout out to the Mrs. Eric Cuts for the win. We got to get you.
Up, Erica?
We got to get you back on the show. Definitely would have been a good week because I know you've been playing a lot of Hogwarts, so I didn't even think about it. But definitely, it's glad you're enjoying the game like everybody else is. Someone asked a question, Slow Mo, and I definitely want to bring it to ask you this before we move over to the last topic.
Okay.
You play a lot of multiplayer games. You play predominantly on PC.
Yeah.
But you're also in player pools with console people. Now, one of my friends, shout out to Ducky in the chat. He's in my Destiny clan, and we play a lot of PvP. And there is this running gag that they have every time we play PvP. If we losing, it's always because there's PlayStation people on the other team. And I'm like, y'all let this get into y'all head so bad.
Wait. Time.
They're saying that they're blaming that they said they're laggy. The game, they're morphing through walls and everything. And I'm like, bro, are we really doing this? I was like, y'all are blaming PlayStation gamers for this.
Hold on. So they're laggy because they're playing on PlayStation 4s or something.
Listen. When I can't even make this up, bro. I'll be playing with them, and then all of a sudden, say we're playing Trials. We're playing Trials with Cyber. We're playing PvP. If we start losing, if something funny starts happening, they'll go look at the chat. I mean, not the chat. They'll go look at the player list. And it shows the icons and their PlayStation icons on the other team. And they're saying, the first thing to say is, man, I can't stand PlayStation gamers. Why can't I play in my own player pool? Why I gotta play with these laggy PlayStation gamers? Slow-mo, I want to know, is there anything to this?
No.
In your opinion?
There's like I'm gonna give you some examples on why this is. I consistently hear things like this. It doesn't matter which platform you're on. I will be playing, it doesn't matter if it's Rogue Company, Halo Infinite, Call of Duty, whatever, right? And I will hear people who getting bodied complain about certain things. PC players hate playing console players now. They hate it.
I know they do.
Which is a console player is probably like, what? They hate playing against? Yeah, they hate playing against you because they hate your controller and they hate that you get aim assist. And they hate it so much. Every time there's a game that has crossplay in it, they whine to the developers. The developers can't even tweet, hey, we got some patch notes. Hey, here's some marketing for our game. Hey, man, turn off that aim assist and those controllers. Hey, man, get rid of crossplay, man. It's ruined the game. This is literally what they say every single time. And watch a streamer who's a PC player using mouse and keyboard die to somebody with a controller and see their response. Man, that wasn't even a real shot. He didn't even aim at me. It was how do you know if he was aiming or not? You didn't watch him shoot. You don't know. But literally, this is what people do every single time they start losing. The console guys, man, he got wall hacks. Shout out to you, Enrique. This is what Enrique does every single time in Halo, and he starts losing. Enrique's like that guy. He's using wall hacks.
He does.
He's got an aimbot. He's got an aimbot, man. That's definitely an aimbot. He's used people can't help themselves. Some people, it's gotta be a reason why I'm getting body. It's not that I'm just not that good in this match, or that the other person just got me in this match. It's not that the other person is any remotely skilled enough to kill me. It's got to be they lag switching, They got wall hacks. They got aimbot. They cheating. And no, I'm not saying there isn't cheating. There is cheating, but it ain't as prevalent as some people make it seem. And people who on mouse and keyboard who try to act like, oh my god, like the aim assist is ridiculous. I've seen people try to test out aim assist. Like, I'm gonna show you how easy aim assist is on console, and then they'll like have a ridiculous test to show you how aim assist is over P on console that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If controller is so OP, mouse and keyboard guy, why don't you use it?
That's what I said.
If it's so good and it's so OP, it's easy mode, then why don't you use it, stupid? You don't use it because you lying and you capping just because you getting bodied. That's why. Because anyone is going to use. But like, if you didn't care about advantages, why would you tune your settings and your sensitivity and your mouse certain things certain way? Why don't you just play default? Oh,
Right.
Because you want to win.
You
So
wanna
if
win.
controller really was all that much of an advantage, why didn't you just use a controller?
That's true.
If it's funny because it's like everyone always has an excuse. So to go back to your point, laggy PlayStation player, like what? Like
Oh,
that
man.
that
It's
doesn't make
funny.
any sense. They
Every time.
it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What makes the PlayStation players more laggy than Xbox players?
I was telling them that's what I was saying in the chat. I was saying,
You're
you do
both on
realize.
consoles.
I was literally telling. I was saying, you do realize that they're saying the same thing about you.
Right, like exactly. Like think about it.
They literally say the same thing about us. It's like, okay, they probably said, "God dang, Xbox players laggy as heck."
And I'm just like everybody has their they got an advantage against us, and I think it's almost like a mindset is like, yeah, I overcame that.
Yep.
Look at my KD.
I agree.
Look at my skills on the skill board. Yeah, look at my score. I did that against PC guys with mouse and keyboard, and they was cheating. I did that
They
against
was
some console
cheating.
guys on aim assist. They got the aim assist was cheating. Yeah, I did that against those PlayStation laggy PlayStation guys. They was shit. It's a mindset that people have to have in order to make themselves feel better. And then when they losing, they'll rely on them cheating bastards in XYZ. I see it everywhere. I would love to get like the PC guys in a room, the PC guys that hate aim assist in a room with the console guys that hate PC cheaters, and just see who comes out alive. It'll be great.
Yeah, I see. He brought that up. He said, "I thought you would get a laugh out of that because it's literally consistent. Like we just be playing, and as soon as a group of PlayStation players show up, and the game gets harder, and all of a sudden, like I died around the wall." They start looking for reasons. It's funny, man. I shout out to all my gamers, man. Gamers don't like to just accept that sometimes you just get beat. And that's just what it is. But that's all. I just wanted to get especially you, because you play a lot of shooters and stuff. So you definitely understand.
So
where
yeah,
I'm
I'm so familiar with it. It's like when you start, as soon as you start, before you even finish, like I didn't know the play it was gonna go to blaming the PlayStation players. I thought that was weird, but I knew it was gonna be some demographic is what's wrong with this game, and it's the only reason why I'm losing right now. Is because of a particular.
Yeah.
Can't be that the person just like, I mean, they don't have to be better than you overall, but they were just better than you in that match. It can't be, all that. Like that's all said. All the main bots in the chat. All they're all aim bots. Is that like it's a mentality that a large number of people who love multiplayer games they fall into. And I will always say, like, yeah, if you really think it's cheating like that, why you still play the game? If you really think controller is that strong and aim assist is that strong, why don't you use it? if you really think they ain't nothing but cheaters on PC. I mean, like, build yourself a PC, my man. Like, what you doing? Like, I just don't get it. It ain't me because you ain't gonna catch me complaining about like
Yeah, I agree.
if I had a negative KD in the match, man, I got bodied.
I got
That's
body.
all that happened.
Yep, got body. Cool. Well, at least we're on the same page. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the 60 people here, man. Really appreciate you guys. It's great to have everybody here. Moving on to that final and last topic. Hogwarts.
Well, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Rodimus gives us his made-up statistic of how many people are using the Cronus Max on console.
What did he say?
0.01%. Forte, you want to regale us with that story you had of the guy that came into your store with a Cronus Max and didn't set up the macros or whatever you gotta do to get it working. He thought it was just gonna be aimbot straight out the box, and he was upset because it didn't work.
Yeah, because it didn't work. He was like, "It's something wrong with it. It's not. My macros aren't working." I was like, "Did you?"
And how much of those Cronus Maxes do you keep in the store?
I usually between 5 and 10.
What I mean is, do they sell often?
Oh no, I only have one left in my store right now, and I usually have at least 10 all the time. And I only got one left. Matter of fact, no, I don't even have the one because I shipped it out in a online order 2 days ago, so I don't even have that. So I probably have 0 at the store right now.
I ain't gonna call no names out. I've seen a couple of streamers that I know are using Cronus Max. Like they're playing Call of Duty on console, and they're also playing Rogue Company. And I've always like the telltale sign I know that they're using it is that they're getting bodied, and then they'll look at the controller and was like, oh, I had a controller issue. Hold on. They somehow didn't connect the Cronus Max or whatever to their control. All of a sudden now every shot's a laser headshot right after that. I'm like, okay, I got you, buddy. It makes a ton of sense. So look. Aramis says Aramis doesn't even play multiplayer games. He's like, never heard that thing. Look, you never heard of a lot of things. You don't play multiplayer.
You know how I know someone's using one, especially when I'm playing Destiny, because they'll do like the little bunny hop, like they'll do the crouch, like uncrouch, crouch, uncrouch. They'll do it consistently. Whenever they're being shot at. That's because the Cronus Max does it automatically for you when you take fire. I was like, the dude just buddy. I was like, why are you buddy hopping? And then I was like, oh, because you got a Cronus Max. Now, granted, it throws your aim off because you're changing your position in height and head height. But it still makes you hard as heck to hit because you're like bouncing around like a bunny. And I was like, man, it's so many people. And then people just call the store like, you got a Chronos in. I'm like, and I'm not, I can't lie.
They call in like it's illegal. Hey man.
You call like this.
You got that Cronus. You got that Cronus, man. You got it right now. I'll come through right now. I can take two. I can take two. You got two. Like, why are you whispering? It's a legal device. Look, if it wasn't, I shout out to the I can't remember the name of this Destiny YouTuber, right? This Destiny YouTuber did a video exposing all these console Cronus users. Yes, right.
Yeah,
and then he exposed the liars to be like, it ain't that many people doing it. And he exposed them too because he was like, this is how you know it's selling like crazy. The Cronus company is posting how many they sell.
They do,
and it's in the hundreds of thousands. They can't make enough of them.
I know. I watched that video.
As soon as they ship them, they're sold out, and they got to make more. So don't miss me with the ain't that many people doing it, because The only reason why y'all not getting exposed left and right is that PC players are using hacks that are installed in their PCs that anti-cheats are able to detect their usage,
All right.
and then they get banned. You cannot detect Cronus Max. I remembered this when I was playing the Division. And people was the first time I ever heard of Cronus before. People were using it in the Division to speed up the fire rate of their guns. This is like guns that do higher damage numbers per bullet, have a slower fire rate.
Yeah.
Like to try to balance things out. They shooting guns, freaking guns that's doing double the damage of like a SMG with the same fire rate as a SMG. Like what? That's not like, and so it was so bad. It was so bad on the Division Xbox and the Division PlayStation that Massive Entertainment came out. The community manager was like, look, we understand this is going on and the dark zone is a mess. We need you guys to report these people so we can ban them, because that's the only way that we can get rid of them, because we cannot detect they're in use because it's nothing actually being done on the actual controller. Though we can go back in the logs and see that this particular gun shot at like a fire rate that's 10 times its normal fire rate and say that's not normal. They're definitely using something that is helping them do that, and ban them then, but they can't detect it the way they can detect it on PC. And so like all this stuff is like this stuff's been going on for a while. That even the company, like, they know what people buy their product for. They market it that way. Look at their website. Look at the stuff they said. Like, was it the Astacroft? Like he broke it down. They market it because they know people want to cheat. I'm done. Let's move on, yo.
I'm with you, bro. All right, let's move over to that final topic. Let's talk about some Hogwarts Legacy and how it's crushing the sales over in the UK. First of all, I love how the UK, the European markets and stuff, are always the ones that are like the super inflated number, because it's like this one territory inside of a territory that's doing so freaking well that the game is selling like hotcakes. But this game is selling well no matter where you're actually at. It was sold out pretty much throughout the whole entire weekend. So Slow-Mo, you sent me this article. What did they have to say about Hogwarts Legacy basically outselling Elden Ring in the launch window?
I think WB is very, very happy with the sales of this game, and they should be. I think it's a very big come up for Avalanche Studios, which is the studio that did the game with Portkey Games. It's a big come up for them, and for WB a huge W, considering that their other games that they've released, so like Gotham Knights did not. I mean, critically didn't do well sales wise. I think it did decent sales wise because it's a DC property, but they've had long droughts without releasing games, and it's good to see them get a W. A W critically as well as commercially. It's, I would say, and what I was trying to hold back, I was trying to hold back on when discussing the game earlier was, it looks like them boycotts didn't work.
No,
As
the boycotts
usual.
ain't where they actually help.
They never work. They probably help. They probably help let more people know about the game, and then they would see gameplay and be like, "Oh, that looks pretty cool." And then they would see more, but like, "Oh, I want to check that out." Or people who are gamers, but they don't really care for Harry Potter or the world, the IP, but they hate cancel culture, and they bought the game out of spite. Or like, just all they really messed up their own cause, and then kind of exposed themselves for being kind of fraudulent, considering that, like, if you really want to go after companies and studios and games that are directly supporting organizations that are doing things to hurt the trans community, you chose the wrong game for that, because there are studios that are like a large percentage of the companies, the publishers and developers, are owned by countries like Saudi Arabia that have laws that make it legal for them to execute people for being trans. So like where you guys at with that? Because I don't see none of y'all complain about that, but y'all keep complaining about J.K. Rowling, who had nothing to do with the development of this game. Like nothing. She didn't write anything in it. She does benefit from it,
You
monetarily,
just
but she's
signed a
going
letter saying you can use my IP.
basically that's all
literally
she
all
did. She's getting paid whether the game's boycotted or not. So you just really just wasted your time and made yourselves look stupid and hurt your own cause. All that said, I think long term, I think the game's probably going to remain in the top 10. Like the fact that in Europe, no other game has sold this well since Red Dead 2 says a lot. Like we don't have concrete numbers yet, but that says a lot about how well it's selling. I think it'll be a top 10. Like when it's all said and done, and we're looking at the end of this year, and we're looking at what the sales numbers, the top 10 games sold or the year, it's going to be up there in that top 10. But we ain't gonna see a single nomination for this at the Video Game Awards.
Absolutely not.
You guarantee that's not happening. There ain't gonna be not even best sound, best sound design. Nope. Game of the year. Forget Game of the Year nominee. It's not happening. Best action. No. Best nothing. Okay, they're gonna act like the game don't exist.
Pretty much. So, Hogwarts, man. I knew this game was going to be pretty big. I didn't expect it. No, I did expect it. I did expect it to sell well. But man, the controversy really, I do think, helped this game a lot because people wouldn't let this go. And all they did was every time they brought up J.K. Rowling, they talked about Hogwarts Legacy,
Yeah.
and then you just drove people to like, because then you had the curiosity that kicks in. People was
Right.
like, well, let me see, because they don't even know that this game, that's the thing. People don't even do a good enough job to even say that she has nothing to do with the game other than signing her name or signing the rights over for them to use it. For
Majority of the boycotters don't know what she said.
They don't even know what she
has
said. They don't even know
said.
what she said.
They don't know if the devs have already been paid or not. I see that all the time. So dismissive. The devs have been paid. So what? It's like, no, the devs have not been paid. It's not in the method that you think it is. The developers for Avalanche and Porky Games, they have kind of the kind of contracts that you would see from like Gearbox, which I kind of think it's not necessarily a good a good compensation package, so to speak, because it becomes a situation where on the back end developers can end up getting the short end of the stick no matter if the game is good or not. But essentially they have a lower salary than what the average is in the industry in order to get a potential massive payout if the game does well through royalties and of the game sales. And this game selling great is great for them. They're probably going to get some fat checks real soon, and good for them. Good for them. But when it came to Gearbox, there was some cooking in the books as usual with Randy Pitchford, and he told them, like the game didn't make enough to justify giving y'all bonus, even though the game sold 5 million in its first 5 days. Borderlands 3 that is of being on the market. So it's not a great philosophy, at least I in my opinion, to compensate your developers. But that said, that is the way they are being compensated, and because of that, people saying, oh, well, as a counter to people saying, well, I want to support the developers that made this game. They got nothing to do with what J.K. Rowling has said or done. And therefore, like, they made a good game. I want to play it. I think they deserve to get this money. The counter to that, they've already been paid. That's false. Because they will get more money for what the work they did if people bought the game, which they have. So it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, man. How long you think it's gonna take? Have you been streaming it?
I haven't streamed it. I need to start streaming it though. I really
Yeah,
do.
I've noticed I haven't
You
seen no, lunch
know,
times or breakfast or lunch or dinner or something with slow mo lately.
I haven't been streaming because like work has been very. I have a lot of periods where I'm just like I just pause the game and go take care of something for work, and that could be like 30, 45 minutes, and
Okay,
it's
got
it's
you.
frequent enough that like that would be a very bad stream.
It'd be detrimental to the stream, right?
Right, because like I'm playing the game for 15 minutes. Then I got stop and do something for 30. Come back to play a game for the 30 minutes. Stop for 45 minutes. Like that's not a good stream. It's just I haven't been able to really just nail down a good 2 hours to just stream the game and have some fun. Which I think I am gonna get that done soon though. I am gonna do a stream real soon. But it's I posted some gameplay and
Nice.
some funny clips. Like
Mhm.
some of the executions are really good. I posted that on TikTok. I posted on my channel me beating the Dark Arts Battle Arena on hard, which is probably, now that I think about it, a slightly easier than beating it on hard like the other ones on hard. But I'm gonna post the other ones that I did on hard as well, because the Dark Arts one gives you access to the unforgivable curses. So they're actually, like, I mean, one of them is just a straight up kill. Kill literally does not matter it could be a troll with full health. You hit him with that
Mhm.
spell, it's a wrap for him. He's done. And so like that compared to, and if you look at my video uploaded, I hit one at this one phase, this one round where the whole round is just you fighting two trolls at the same time. I killed
Mm.
one of them with the unforgivable curse, with the kill curse. I forgot what it's called, cadaver, whatever. Died immediately. The other one took me about 2 minutes to kill,
Mm.
just because it's on hard mode and he got more health. I do less damage, and it's just like it whittling his health down to forever. And when I did kill him, it was because that curse went off a cooldown, because it's got the longest cooldown on purpose. It should be the longest cooldown. It's an instant kill. And then I got it back and I killed him. But like, yeah, I mean, that's just, yeah. It's fun. It's fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But I will start streaming it soon.
Yeah, you should. All right, man. Well, as always, like I said, it's amazing being here with you, man. I really appreciate all the time you put into this and the dedication and everything. That's why you my boy, and that's why we do this. So with that, I am going to read down the channel members for this week, and shout out to Dragonheart Yobi with the 5 gifted subs. Really, really appreciate that. And definitely jump into the Discord. That is one of the benefits you get for being a channel member. You get access to the Discord, so you can hang out with us, chat with us, play games with us if you want to, and everything like that. That's where we basically just sit back and communicate with everybody. So you do have access to that while you're a member. But for the channel, we got Texas Lean, Low Key Poppy, J Dab, True Serum, Big Mad Mo, Dragonheart Yobi, Stardust Acero, Texas, I'm a Rich Swag Lord, Ramon Terrell, Hargy Chini, Brap, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Corey Hale, Cat Daddy Lurk, Erodimus, the homie Slow Mo Backslap, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. You guys power the channel, really appreciate it, and thank you for supporting us in this way. Go ahead, bro.
All right, we got John the Don, Vabe Babe, Cat Daddy Alert, Dragonheart Yobi, Enrique Hargy Shani, Texas, Shoot Serum, Erodimus, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Gaming Forte, Corey Hale, Stardust Acero, and that guy Smitty. Yeah, really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. We love the support that we get. We were going to, so something that me and Forte had thought of doing. to kind of like drive
Traffic.
eyes and traffic to the DPS channel, because what we want to do eventually is get a DPS channel up up to a point where we can just, when we do DPS, it's not going back and forth on our channels, it's just on the DPS channel. But uh there was something, like, I started it, and then there was something that we realized in the middle, like right before we got started, like this would be really bad to be like, because I was going to stream it to the DPS channel, but then it was just like that's not possible with the way things were set up. So I'm gonna upload this podcast to it tomorrow, but next week what we're gonna try to do is have it streamed to both my channel and the DPS channel at the same time. So people, you can pick and choose whether, if you're the kind of person that's like, I'm tired of the back and forth, I just want to just know one place where the podcast is going to be. You're going to be able to have it in that one place, so don't worry about it. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, really appreciate that, bro. And with that being said, sir, let everybody know where they can find you, what you got going on your channel, and what you got in store for us over the course of the next week.
Slow mo backslap on everything. That is YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, OnlyFans,
OnlyFans.
everything. Slow mo backslap.
Oh
So
my god, OnlyFans. I believe you. I believe you. And you're already on my channel, Game Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. And enjoy your week, enjoy your games, enjoy everything that you're playing, and have a good weekend, guys. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
peace.